Many people wonder, who's the most prolific actor in the world? The Rock? Tom Cruise? Meryl Streep? While most of you might vote for one of them, the answer might surprise you. Could the answer actually be a potato? From his humble origins on a PEI potato farm to his starring role in the Transformers series, Optimash Prime has become a megastar all over the world and has starred in hundreds of movies, television shows, and commercials spanning 7 decades. How could a potato make such an impact on our popular culture? We have to go back 70 years, to 1950, to the Klondike Potato Farm in Summerside, Prince Edward Island.
Optimash was our 43rd child, but we always knew he was going to be special. 99% of the potatoes grown here on to become chips or french fries, but Optimash never wanted that. I remember while the rest of his friends were studying for their Spudley aptitude tests, Optimash would be reenacting scenes from his favorite movies and television shows. He really looked up to Mr. Potato Head and would watch anything that he was in. Optimash was never content with the farm life. He often clashed with his family and friends over that simple things like, are chips better than fries, or is salt and vinegar a real flavor? It was obvious that he would never really fit into proper PEI potato life. When he was 15, he dropped out of high school and moved to Los Angeles. That's where he got his first break.
For the first half of the 20th century, animation was just starting to make it big in North America. For decades, Walt Disney had held a virtual monopoly, spending lavish amounts of money on paint, paper, and animators. But by the late 1940s and 50s, several studios realized that they could cut costs by simply animating backgrounds and hiring actors to perform in front of them. The problem was scale. In order for films to stay cost-efficient, the backgrounds had to be quite small. But what actors could be used to perform in such cramped environs? The answer was obvious. Potatoes! The average potato is only about 10 centimeters tall, perfect for the camera. The golden age of potato wood was born.
Mr. Potato Head was the first true Potato Wood star. His first role as Crusader Rabbit in 1949 was quoted by his birth name, Philip Potato Head. Hasbro later signed him to a contract in 1952 and insisted on Philip going by Mr. Potato Head, as they were worried that too many people would shorten his name to Pee-Pee Head.
With the huge success of Crusader Rabbit, other animated shows were quick to follow. With potato actors being in high demand, Idaho became the biggest producer of produce actors in the world, and soon earned the moniker Potato Wood.
Many historians argue about the actual numbers. It is undeniable that produce actors have been performing in Asian markets decades before they hit it big in North America. In fact, Mr. Peanut, who has been performing for Planters for over a century, starred in many silent films and commercials back in Sam before the turn of the 20th century. The reason for the debate actually seems to be that they agent-produced actors were mostly rice and legumes, and being much smaller than even potatoes, were able to star in far cheaper films, the majority of which have not survived to the present day. You have to understand that Optimash came to Potato Wood as a huge underdog. Well, undeniably talented. There's a lot of talented potatoes out there. Also, being from the PEI was a difficult challenge to overcome. Faced lots of anti-potatoism, stereotyping, bullying, and outright hostility from many directors and actors until he got his first role in The Flintstones. The Flintstones was the first animated TV show to air in prime time in the United States. The show had been a great hit, but by 1965 its popularity was waning. The producers needed something to give the show a boost and introduced a new character, the Great Gazoo.
Gazoo, the showrunners felt, needed to be very different than the normal potato actors on the show. The potato actors playing Fred, Barney, Wilma, Betty, etc. were all Idaho potatoes. Optimash arrived at the perfect place at the perfect time.
I'd love to tell you that I got him the role because of my great skills, but I'd be lying. The director was a friend of mine, and when he was beginning the need for a different kind of potato, I pitched for Optimash. Optimash's performance as the Great Gazoo was met by mixed reviews, and the Flintstones was cancelled at the end of the season in 1966.
While the Flintstones was over, Optimash's performance was noticed by several prominent Potato Wood directors.
Oh yeah, I saw Optimash as the Great Gazoo. Talk about acting. I don't think anyone thought that the Gazoo was actually being played by a potato. Talk about a total immersion into a role. I had to have it in my next film. Space Odyssey was slated to release in 1968. In generally live action, there were some special effects that needed to be added, with animation being very pricey and the film already over budget. Stanley wondered if Optimash could act as the various effects. Optimash started getting calls from tons of directors, and being a small-town potato, we needed someone to handle anything. I guess I was lucky to have called him first. Optimash was a bit overwhelmed at first. He got so many offers, and he didn't want to be taken advantage of. I did a bit of research, and Potato Man was the best. He's taken care of Optimash for over 50 years now.
Optimash now had an agent and regular work. While his primary role was in 2001, A Space Odyssey, he simultaneously filmed numerous movies and TV shows, and his agent, David Potato Man, was swamped with offers for Optimash's services.
I got so many offers at first that I was probably declining more than I accepted. Optimash was still working multiple projects at a time every day. From the late 60s until the early 1980s, no actor in Potato Wood worked more often than Optimash Prime. From films like 2001 A Space Odyssey, The Phantom Toolbooth, Cat in the Hat, Snoopy Come Home, and TV shows like Dr. Dolittle, Archie, Pebbles, and Bam Bam, just to name a few. There was hardly an animated film or TV show that didn't have at least one role being played by Optimash. So Hasbro calls me in 1983, and they're like, we have a new toy line, Transformers. We're wondering if we can hire Optimash for an exclusive contract. Now, Optimash had done work for other toy companies before. He'd done some work with Matt, with He-Man, but that was a kind of a new thing.
Optimash was really intrigued by Hasbro's offer. He always idolized Mr. Potato Head, who also worked for them, and having a toy line just like his idol was irresistible.
In July of 1983, Optimash Prime signs an exclusive deal with Hasbro, on the condition that they name the main character after him. Hasbro orders 2 seasons of Transformers, and it is wildly successful. They sell millions of toys and order a feature film, with Optimash set to be in the starring role. A 3rd season is also in the works.
Transformers really changed everything for Optimash. For the entire purpose of his acting was to blend into the animation, unless you read the credits. You wouldn't know who Optimash was even in the show, but now he's a character that's actually named after him.
With Optimash's huge success, it seemed that there was nowhere for him to go but up. But, just as filming for Transformers the movie had gotten underway, tragedy struck.
Chippenworth was Optimash's nephew, my sister's 12th son, and he'd always idolized him. Well, he wasn't interested in acting. He showed Optimash's charisma. He always planned on using the world's strongest potato competition as a springboard to celebrity.
Chippy was such a wonderful son. We knew he'd be a star, and even in high school, where he holds 7 powerlifting records. He could deadlift over 2 kilograms. When he won the world's strongest potato competition, everyone was so proud. We knew who even greater things were in store for him. Events of January 17, 1985 will live on in potato history forever. According to friends and family, shortly after winning the world's strongest potato competition, Chippenworth Prime Chippy flew to Toronto, Ontario to celebrate. He and his numerous friends and relatives went to a nice restaurant, Salernos, and were treated quite rudely by some of the staff. Seeking to meditate, Chippy went into the back to speak to the owner.
Yeah, Chippa went back into straightening everything out.
At first, you wouldn't even hear anything, 'cause,
It was quite nosy in that place, but then we heard a terrible scream and the sound of chopping.
Well, we didn't see anything, obviously, but like 20 minutes later, here comes the chef with culinary leaking potato soup for everyone. What made the event even more tragic was that in the province of Ontario there are no laws against assault on, or murder of, or even the eating of potatoes.
The news hit Optimash hard. We'd all loved Chippy, of course, but Optimash had taken him under his wing. He had thought that Chippy was going to be an even bigger star than he was. He dropped everything. He was in the middle of filming and just quit everything and flew home. I don't think Hasbro was really happy with him.
With only a few scenes filmed, and Optimash unavailable, Transformers the movie had to be completely rewritten. Optimash Prime was killed off after only a few minutes, and a completely new movie was made.
Well, it also had repercussions long term. While Optimash being dead in the movie, the TV show obviously couldn't storm either, as season 3 was a direct sequel to the movie.
Optimash spent nearly a year away from Potatowood, spending time with family. It looked like his acting career was over, until an offer came that he couldn't refuse.
Transformers the movie was met with a lot of hatred from hardcore fans. The death of Optimash's character, not to mention lots of other characters, really turned people off. This continued with season 3 of the TV show. Without everyone's favorite characters, ratings started to drop.
Yeah, the show was tanking, and Hasbro gave me a call. They're like, would Optimash be interested in coming back?
Hasbro offered Optimash his rollback, plus a large percentage of all Optimus Prime merchandise. The character and his career was resurrected.
We never would have killed him if he hadn't really been for Optimash's personal strategy. Fortunately, he was playing a robot. Robots can't really die, can they?
Optimash flew back to Potatowood and immediately began filming. At the same time, however, offers started coming in from overseas.
Optimash really wasn't happy in Potatowood after Chippy passed. Everything reminded him of his loss. He came home for a bit, and he told me he was considering moving to Japan.
Potato actors had never really made it big in Japan. They generally hired rice or soybean actors, but North American popular culture had started permeating the market. By the mid-'80s, there was a huge demand for potato actors.
Optimash had finished filming too many series for Hasbro, The Return of Optimash Prime and The Rebirth. When I told him the opportunities in the Far East, he didn't want to anger Hasbro, who had been really good to him. But we came to an arrangement where he could continue the Transformers line in Japan as well.
Well, the first Transformers television series ended after The Rebirth in North America. It would continue for 3 more seasons in Japan.
Obviously, we didn't want to lose Optimash, but we are attempting to branch out into the Asian markets. So anyways, it's always a win-win situation for everyone.
Now a megastar in both North America and Japan, Optimash spent the next decade filming various movies and TV shows, also making personal appearances at various charities and social events. But as the years went by, the roles started to dry up, and Optimash looked to make a career change.
By the 90s, computer graphics or CGI had become the norm for most animation studios. Big-budget productions were no longer limited to Disney. Now virtually any animation studio could cheaply produce animated TV shows and films. Produced actors were no longer required.
Optimash was getting older, and while he still enjoyed acting, he was looking for a way to give something back to the world. I think that Chippy inspired the SOS Foundation. But it's Optimash who makes it the success it is.
I started Save Our Spuds, or SOS, in honor of my late nephew, Chippenworth Prime. While I can't bring Chippy back, hopefully this foundation can bring awareness of the perils to all potatoes in this increasingly anti-potatic world.
Here at SOS, we work to raise awareness of plight of
innocent potatoes and are petitioning various proposals state and national governments to make laws guaranteeing not just rights of humans, but all produce actors.
With CGI now the animation standard, and after spending over 20 years as the head of SOS, it seemed that Optimash's story was at an end. But that changed with one phone call. We had this awesome show, but the network wouldn't pick it up unless we had a name to attach to it. I had loved Transformers as a child, so I started thinking, do you think Optimash would do it?
Optimash was still my client, but honestly, we hadn't spoken in years. Optimash seemed so happy over at SOS, and I was starting to wind down my own agency when Batman gives me a call. He was like, "We've got this great show. Do you think Optimash will host?" And I was like, I'll give him a call, and the rest is history.
Optimash flew down to Toronto to begin filming the epic web series Watching Cool Stuff. Originally scheduled for a limited release, its enormous success would lead to 15 episodes, and an order for a second season. But it wasn't all peaches and cream. While filming episode 13, Optimash and Batbear got into a fight, leading to an exchange of blows that could actually be heard towards the end of the episode. Well, we had a slight disagreement towards the end of the paint drying Olympics, but my injuries were just superficial. Overall, I think Optimash really enjoyed the experience.
Oh my God. I still can't believe people watch that show. Do you know I spent 24 hours looking at a clock tick? And even more time watching glaciers move? Do you know what another word for slow is? Glacial! Oh my God! I wish I'd never met Batbear. He deserved what he got, and no, I will not be involved with Season 2.
Batbear filed a restraining order against Optimash after their on-screen scuffle during the paint-drying Olympics, and while Season 2 is slated to return in the fall of 2020, Optimash will not be involved.
Yeah, Optimash gave me a call from the set after the incident. It took a bit of finagling, but I got Optimash out of his contract and another gig.
I'd always wanted to perform on Broadway, and when David told me about the role, I couldn't say no.
Transformers the musical has been an incredible success. We're going on a tour through, but be sure to catch up when it comes to your city.
And there we have it. From small-town potato to international celebrity and success, Optimash Prime continues to entertain. What's next? Who knows? But I'm sure you'll be watching.